This week in Philadelphia sports was defined by roster movement, current injury status, and positioning across all four major franchises. In the NFL, the Eagles made targeted roster additions, including a veteran quarterback acquisition and defensive reinforcements. In the NBA, the 76ers remain in the Eastern Conference playoff picture, averaging approximately 115.9 points per game, shooting above 34% from three, and holding teams to around 111 points per contest, even as star center Joel Embiid remains sidelined with a right oblique strain. In MLB, the Phillies are completing spring training while adjusting to the news that Johan Rojas will miss the first 80 games of the regular season due to suspension. And in the NHL, the Flyers have gained traction in the wild-card hunt with a recent string of wins and a more structured approach on both ends. Welcome back to Philly Statline. Let's start with the Eagles. This week's transactions were about strategic reinforcement. Philadelphia acquired veteran QB Andy Dalton from Carolina to provide depth and mentorship behind starter Jalen Hurts, a move that adds much-needed stability at the position and protects against early-season volatility. On defense, the Eagles traded safety Sidney Brown, freeing up draft capital, and signed safeties Marcus Epps and J.T. to one-year deals, enhancing versatility in the secondary and special teams. Offensively, adding wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown gives the Eagles an explosive deep target, expanding vertical threat potential and complementing existing weapons. Collectively, these moves reflect a roster built for durability and flexibility, with a balance of veteran savvy and schematic fit. On the hardwood, the 76ers remain in the thick of the playoff chase despite missing their superstar. Joel Embiid is out with a right oblique strain, and while the team continues to monitor his recovery, he has not yet played in recent games. In his absence, the Sixers have leaned on Tyrese Maxey for scoring and ball-handling leadership. Philadelphia's offense is producing at a high level, roughly 116 points per game, with spacing and tempo supported by competent three-point shooting and free-throw conversion. Defensively, the Sixers are contesting shots and limiting easy transition buckets, keeping them competitive in a crowded Eastern Conference. The next stretch of games will test their ability to close out close contests and prove they can maintain playoff seeding without Embiid in the lineup. In spring training, the Phillies are putting finishing touches on their regular season roster. Offensively, Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm have shown strong contact rates and run-producing at-bats, while arms like Jesus Luzardo and Andrew Painter have turned in promising innings that bolster rotation depth. However, the team is adjusting to the absence of center fielder Johan Rojas, who will miss 80 games after a positive performance-enhancing drug test. Rojas's absence reshapes outfield opportunities and puts a greater developmental spotlight on players fighting for everyday roles. The Phillies' veteran core, anchored by Bryce Harper and Tree Turner, remains a focal point for lineup production as opening day approaches. Frequent situational hitting and bullpen efficiency will be key once the regular season begins. On the ice, the Flyers have gained momentum in the Eastern Conference wildcard conversation. A recent multi-game winning streak has moved them into position, backed by disciplined defense that limits high-danger chances and improved puck management in the neutral zone. Balanced scoring across multiple lines has taken pressure off any single unit, while incremental improvements in special teams, especially a more consistent penalty kill, have translated to more wins. If the Flyers continue this trajectory, they're poised to enter April with real playoff leverage. Across all four Philadelphia teams, the story of the week is execution and preparation. The Eagles are reinforcing depth and adaptability. The 76ers are navigating playoff positioning without their franchise centerpiece. The Phillies are managing early season setbacks while sharpening talent, and the Flyers are turning structural improvements into critical wins. In this city, where fan expectations are always high, player availability, roster construction, and execution in critical moments separate contenders from pretenders. Full breakdown is up now on Philly Statline. Thanks for listening. Now make a statement with INK High Contrast Streetwear. Bold. Unique. Google INK IQ Shop now.